I opened the movie intentionally with the wise man to establish right away you can laugh.
One more question. Have you ever looked at a guy with lust?
Yes, all the time. Oh my goodness.
He sees you when you're sleeping.
He knows when you're awake.
He knows if you've been bad or good.
So be good for goodness sake. That's right.
But that's not what this episode is about.
That's right. Well, in a way, these rules still apply to who this episode is about.
Yeah.
The Lord.
Because this is welcome to Will and Ava's Christmas movie marathon.
That's
the
right.
Podcast.
Episode 2 of 2024.
Season 4.
That's right.
Which is bonkers.
Today we cover 2 movies, I would say on the opposite ends of the popularity spectrum, but both of which have to do with the reason for the season, the Nativity, the birth of Christ, and its effect on the world in the current day and back in Bethlehem.
Yeah, back in a moment.
Again, at the top of the show, we got to promote tomorrow, Sunday, December 15th. Get tickets for the first day of our Christmas Film Festival. Ava, what can people expect on day 1 of the Christmas Film Showcase at QED here in Astoria and Queens in New York City?
You can expect it all. This is our more horror, scary, insane night. We are having killer reindeer,
That's
unexpected Christmas presents.
That's right.
Trippy Christmas Eve.
That's right. So the way it's going to work, we have Ava and I are going to open up the show.
Yes.
We're going to play a program of short films. These are films under 40 minutes. These are all crazy Christmas movies, horror Christmas movies, gross out Christmas movies. And then we will take on our feature of the evening, A Very Flattened Christmas, which is a hybrid Christmas movie, stoner comedy, slasher, horror flick.
Yeah.
It's very funny, very exciting.
Great stuff.
There's a character named Dick Puncher, which I cannot wait for the public to meet.
Yes, Dick Puncher is great.
I
mean,
love him.
There are so many things in that movie that absolutely charmed me. I think I said this in our last episode, but programming the in-person Christmas festival has been such a treat because we found so many movies that we love.
Yeah.
Because on here, when we're trudging through, Amazon Prime, Tubi, any direct to streaming
or
movie,
like today, YouTube
or YouTube, sometimes or most of the times we see absolute duds.
Yeah, stuff that isn't our cup of tea.
Yeah. And then we have to talk about it because, we're not going to not talk about it.
No, exactly.
But with this festival, we've really been able to just curate the cream of the crop.
That's right.
The cream of the crop.
So day 1, tomorrow,
It's
Sunday, December 15th.
Amazing. Tickets on sale.
3:30 p.m. You can find them in the description of this YouTube video or on your podcast feed. There will be a link that'll send you right to QED's website where you can get a $10 ticket from 3:30 to 6:30. Christmas movie goodness. We can guarantee that there will be directly following the conclusion of our feature film a brief Q&A with filmmakers that are in attendance.
Yes. Some filmmakers who are flying from across the world to be at this festival.
That's right.
So
Oscar.
you're not going to want to miss this.
The director of our short film Space Christmas, Oscar, is coming to QED here in NYC from Paris, France.
Which is incredible. So it's going to be a great night. You're not going to want to miss it. If you miss it, you're going to, for the rest of your life, you're going to be waking up in the middle of the night and saying, oh my God, why didn't I go to the Follow on Your Knees program of the Christmas Film Showcase?
And all
sponsored by Will and Ava's Christmas
movie
movie
marathon past podcast. Now, all films that we show next week will be available to stream, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
On
soon.
some sort of digital thing a little bit after Christmas.
It's all going to be available to stream on our website, thechristmasfilmshowcase.com. It's all going to be, everything's going to be available, and that's going to be available to stream, I think, starting on the 25th.
Yes.
It might not be exactly the 25th because I'll have to tell you, getting all the festival stuff together has been taking over my life.
It's been very busy.
But all the stuff will be up after Christmas, and you can sit down at home, watch these amazing movies, experience it with us, and we're also going to be talking about everything all the
Yeah.
movies on the podcast soon. So
Yeah, next week we cover day 1 of our Christmas film showcase,
Yeah.
Fall on Your Knees.
I'll tell you, it's been a really fun year. I can't wait to do it again.
That's right. But we, enough promo, we have...
Because Christmas isn't about making money.
Exactly. We have 2 films in our regular scheduled programming to discuss, though I will say one more final note. If you cannot make this coming festival date, tomorrow, December 15th, don't fret. You can always come to day 2, which is the immediate next Sunday, December 22nd at QED in Astoria at 3:30.
Yes, December 22nd, the Joy to the World program.
These are more of our comedy and holiday joy themed Christmas films.
It's all about joy in these. I don't really know which program I like more.
I think they're both good.
I think they're both amazing.
I don't think we programmed bad days at all. I think they're great.
Oh, no.
Both days are great.
I'm saying in terms of, which one do I just love more? Which one do I like? Which one am I like, oh my God, I can't wait to go to this one?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm truly not sure. I am very excited for 22nd. And I think it's going to be a blowout, bust down time.
Yeah, we've got some cool folks we know are coming.
We might have multiple Scrooges in attendance.
There
That's all I'm going to say.
might be more than one Ebenezer Scrooge.
It might be Battle of the Scrooges, so I'm pretty excited about that.
But yeah, enough about the promo.
Yeah,
Just
up.
wanted to plug the 22nd if you can't make tomorrow happen.
Yeah.
So, what is our theme for this episode, Ava?
The reason for the season.
The reason for the season, the birth of Jesus,
Oh,
the
holy
Nativity.
night.
We've often, strayed away from films that are directly about the birth of Jesus, not on purpose, just by, sheer happenstance the past 3 years. So we decided to do...
Well, obviously on purpose, because we're obviously trying to keep the Christ out of Christmas because we're the liberal elite of New York City, right?
But no more. No longer.
No
Today, we deal with it with 2
Head
films, one of which is a YouTube documentary called Christmas Gone Viral from 2017, directed by Ray Comfort. And then the second of which is maybe the highest budget and most popular film we've ever discussed on our podcast, but it just struck our interest so much that we had to talk about it.
Yeah.
This is Journey to Bethlehem, directed by Adam Anders from 2023, starring Milo Manheim and Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
But starting off, we'll start in the order that we watch them. Ava, tell me about Ray Comfort's 2017 Man on the Street documentary, Christmas Gone Viral.
Christmas Gone Viral is a punishing less than an hour, 59-minute watch.
Yes, it's a very brief. It does technically meet the requirements for a feature film. A feature film is 55 minutes or more.
Yeah, I will say, it starts in a way that absolutely piques your interest because you see Mr. Ray Comfort himself with his New Zealander accent, wearing sunglasses in the car with his dog.
His dog also sporting some shades.
Yeah, talking about like Pauline ethics, giving a little sermon about Paul. And you're like, okay, this might be cool. This might be cool because I see a dog, I see a guy. And then we just get like man on the street interviews, which are really, they're not really interviews, they're like just like evangelicalizing to people in a very like guilt trippy way.
Yeah, I don't want to go too hard at this movie because it isn't outright.
Have you read about Ray Comfort's though?
I haven't gone deep on research on Ray Comfort.
I have read about Ray Comfort.
Is he a bad actor? Is he a bad dude?
No.
Bad hombre?
No. But what I will say is that Ray Comfort isn't completely naive to the fact that people may make fun of some of his points, because the whole thing about Ray Comfort is a evangelical. I'm not sure if it's exactly evangelical, but he's a preacher. He has his own ministry, and he used to do Christian stand-up, right?
Oh.
Well, he used to do Christian stand-up, or at least like he was a puppeteer. I mean, he also,
Michael Jr.
Well, yeah, he was a puppeteer, and then he's done many things. So he was a puppeteer, and he did like some level of Christian stand-up. Maybe focus more to kids. I'm not really sure, but in one of these stand-up routines, he made this. He does like I think instead of stand-up, I should say live apologetics with jokes in it.
Okay, so kind of like a more poppy sermon.
Yeah, it was apologetics. So he in one of his apologetic arguments in this stand-up routine he said, how can you believe in evolution when you see a banana? Because a banana is perfectly made to like be held, because it's like it's like a curve, and it's like packaged perfectly because it has like the peel. It's like, and it fits perfectly in your mouth, whatever.
He makes a similar sort of like, how can you believe in something because of something sort of argument in one of the interviews in this film.
Yeah. Well, he makes his argument, right? And this argument, talk about Christmas gone viral, this argument goes viral within like the big at the time atheist community, and freaking like Richard Dawkins and people like make fun of him over this, because the thing about the banana that we know and love is that the banana is a product of artificial selection. Bananas in the wild, the bananas that God created, were like little and barely edible and had giant seeds.
But they've evolved.
Well, yeah, because of artificial selection, we've like purposely bred bananas to be better for us. So this whole joke that he made went super, 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 like, I'm not sure if viral is the right word because I think this is in the late 90s, but it was made fun of by a lot of like big popular atheists at the time, like Richard Dawkins and shit. And like Penn Teller,
Penn Jillette,
Penn Jillette, like
libertarian atheist Penn Jillette,
literally. And Ray Comfort was aware of this, and he was humiliated.
Bill Maher.
I'm not sure if Bill Maher mentioned it, but Ray Comfort was humiliated by this.
Yeah.
He was humiliated by this, so he did the only thing that anyone would do if they were humiliated by publicly being ridiculed for being stupid. I kind of feel
bad for him for that.
We did the only thing that someone would do in that situation, and it's make a movie about it.
That's awesome.
All about his public humiliation.
God bless him.
Trying to and doubling down on the point while still saying like, oh, like it's called The Fool. It's called The Fool. So he like doubles down on it apparently.
So this takes place after he made this after Christmas gone viral.
Wow. He's still hurt.
He made this film after Christmas went viral.
Yeah.
After he made Christmas go viral, Kirk Cameron shows up in it through archival footage. Yeah, Richard Dawkins. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting.
But yeah, if you want, the letterbox description is, thanks to an embarrassing stand-up routine promoting Christian intelligent design, Ray Comfort was dubbed Banana Man by Professor Richard Dawkins and mocked by an entire generation of atheists. But Ray's gotten used to it. In fact, he's been using his banana-based infamy as a way to evangelize. I can never say that word.
Evangelize.
Right. Evangelize even more. Last year, he wrote a book hoping it would provide some much-needed context to his banana bit. It didn't. And now he's made a movie documenting the same thing. The problem is, so this letterbox description was written by someone making fun of him, obviously.
Yeah.
The problem with this entire routine, though, is that taking an hour to explain a horrible analogy doesn't work when your starting point is a horrible analogy. A very mean letterboxed.
Ungenerous.
Yeah, review. And our descriptions. Someone trolled him hard. I'll rewrite the description to be kinder to him.
Or more...
Because I think that letterbox descriptions should be neutral.
They should be neutral. We shouldn't be editorializing. In fact, in our Journey to Bethlehem movie, not to get too ahead of ourselves, we took a bit of an issue with the editorializing
of the Bible.
Because it's very like the evil King Herod, and you're kind of like no fans of King Herod on this podcast.
Yeah.
Don't misunderstand me, but it's very like, okay, we're getting a very uncritical. But to see the movie The Journey to Bethlehem becomes, it kind of makes sense to it's you're not getting like even like something like Darren Aronofsky's Noah, much less an even more critical look at the Bible.
Well, I think that the evil King Herod thing is mainly silly because it just feels like the degradation of like culture and writing. Like you think of like a movie made in like 1955, and if they have an opening scroll, they're like the ruthless King
Herod.
Like it's like they use a word that like actually is a descriptor in some way.
Yeah. That said, Antonio,
or gives him more of like a character like point of personality that's like more interesting, and not just saying like, oh well, he's evil, which is like, okay, well, you know, that means that I can never come to a decision myself when I watch this film if he's evil or not.
I will say though, the performance Antonio Banderas gives is of an evil guy.
He's silly in it.
But
Anyhow,
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Christmas Gone Viral. So yeah, it's man on the street interviews. From
Across the world.
Yeah, he actually gets like a bunch of like other people to do these man on the street interviews for him, like to be an interviewer. Which when I was watching it, my first thought was, does this guy run a cult? You know, which isn't the craziest thing because, you know, there's a lot of cults that make YouTube videos.
Yeah, they go to Central America, Australia, France, England.
Yeah,
they go to South Africa. They go to the Philippines.
They go to San Diego, USA.
Yes, and they end in California in the United States.
Yeah.
With Ray doing the interviews himself.
But yeah, I had thought that maybe he was like had like a cult, but I think he just has a very popular ministry.
Yeah, and I think he was able to maybe reach out to his broader network of worldwide people that he's gone around the world or met through different places doing his stand up or his evangelizing. And
one thing I'll give to him is that when Ray Comfort does his evangelizing interviews with the children, the young people that they tend to
the college students,
they tend to pick on, he's way better at it.
Yeah, he's a lot more personable.
Yeah, because the other people seem very okay, so like the way that these interviews are set up, it's like they ask you like
you're on your university campus, or you're out walking around shopping, or you're at the beach, someone comes up to you with a camera and they're holding a microphone
and they say, can I interview you about Christmas?
Yes.
And the questions start as like you know, what does Christmas celebrate? What does it mean to you? How do you celebrate Christmas? And then they start asking you questions that are kind of leading, like, have you ever stolen, or do you consider yourself a good person? And most normal people say like, yeah. And then, you know, he starts going like, well, have you ever stolen anything? Have you ever, and the stealing, you know, it's a wide net because they're also like, this includes pirating MP3s.
Movies, or like they ask like when they're like, have you ever stolen anything? And someone says no, and they're like, that includes like downloading illegal music. They're like, no, and they're like, well, this includes like when you're a little kid. And then the people go like, okay, well, yeah, I definitely probably have like taken something of my brother's when I was a little kid.
Yeah, they ask like, have you ever committed adultery? And they're like, no. Or like, what about adultery of the heart?
Have you ever looked at a woman with lust? And then like a lot of people will be like, well, I suppose I have.
Yeah. So like it's like leading him, and they're like, so after all that, do you still think you're a good person because you're
a lying.
You're a lying thief. You've disobeyed the 10 Commandments. You've disobeyed Moses' laws of the 10 Commandments. Do you think you're a good person still? And they're like, I don't know. And they're like, do you believe in heaven and hell? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, do you think you're going to heaven or hell based on if God was a judge, where's he putting you? And they're like, I guess I'm going to hell. So it's like, you know, it's kind of like when the other people interview, and it's not Ray Comfort, they're very it feels very mean.
Yeah, it's a little intense, I feel.
Whereas like Ray Comfort,
he says it in a more like jovial way where you can
like
tell
he's joking.
You can also tell, and it's a little bit compelling, and I can see how you would want to take this stance as an evangelist or be wrapped up in a conversation when someone's talking to you. He takes more of a stance of like, you see where I'm going logically, right?
Yeah.
Like, we are all capable, and this is something that I think many people would agree with. I agree with. We're all capable of doing something wrong. We are all flawed people. Is there such thing as a good person?
Yeah, well, I think mainly what he's doing though is he's trying to say like, you know, these things are bad, but like, don't worry, there's like the best ever cheat code.
Well, yeah,
to get out of all of this.
Certainly from a certain worldview, and
it's kind of
from where I'm kind of seeing, I kind of see like, well, this is like, and then he kind of like goes like, well, but if you listen to me, you kind of get to skate past all this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, and that is like, I guess that's the cool thing about Christianity is that, you know, if you accept Jesus Christ into your heart, all the sins you did in the past can be forgiven, and future sins can also be forgiven.
Which I think also leads to some of the dissatisfaction of this as a documentary, because it ends whenever the interviews And it ends with the interviewer going like, and so do you accept Jesus Christ into your heart? And the person either is like, no, buzz off, or they when they say yes, it feels very like disingenuous.
Yeah.
It's either like, this is what I'm saying to
this guy,
get out of this
right
conversation,
here.
XYZ. And there's this very kind of self-satisfied kind of like, wow, yeah, we have changed a life today kind of like tone the documentary strikes. And it's kind of like, well, I'm happy you feel better about yourself having done that. I don't know if you did.
And for the people that, and because there's some people that don't even say like, oh, I don't. There's some people that just like kind of are like there was this one guy who like very clearly in the beginning of the interview like is a Christian.
Yeah.
But they still did like this weird like evangelicalizing interview like, do you think you're going to heaven or hell? And he's like, oh, I guess I'm going to hell. You know, he feels bad at the end, right?
Yeah.
And it's like this guy was clearly because like
was this the guy in South Africa?
Yeah, in South Africa.
And it's a very short interview, and you do watch his face kind of drop.
Yeah, I mean, like, but like because they got that reaction out of him, they put him in the fucking montage of like pray for these lost souls.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, like this guy, like obviously, like he did the thing that like that's the thing, like he can make all these mistakes, but he did the thing.
Yeah,
you know, like he's like, yeah, I guess I have committed adultery in my heart. Yes, I guess
I have stolen as a child.
Yeah, and like he's like really sad saying it, and
I guess I would go to hell were I to be judged on these actions.
Yeah, and it's like, no, like this guy's clearly a Christian. Like you can just tell from the beginning of the conversation. This guy's clearly a Christian.
They ask him that specific guy. They're like, the first question they ask him is, "What is Christmas about?" And pretty much everybody else says
presents,
like, being with family, even. But he says it's about the birth of Jesus.
Yeah.
And he says he is a Christian, and it is kind of like, oh man, dude, like you might have you've already got him.
Yeah, like why are you like guilting him about
Bro is
random
saved.
shit? He's literally saved. Like it's okay. Like, it's okay.
Are there any particularly funny interviews? It is funny to see
there's
like a 2017 Reddit atheist get interviewed by Ray Comfort and be like, well, I reject your hypothesis.
Yeah, they're like so pissed.
Yeah, and it's like, no, you're kind of an asshole too, dude.
Yeah, totally. Because like I would never do that.
Yeah, like you know, I would say thank you, for your time, Mr. Comfort. Have a good day. I just wouldn't get roped into the interview.
Yeah, I think as soon as I realized that it was like a Christian interview, I'd be like, oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable doing this interview. You have a good day, though. I'm gonna walk away.
Merry
you know
Christmas.
What I mean? Merry Christmas. Have a good day.
Yeah, I think these Reddit atheists that are like, I'm gonna destroy Ray Comfort with facts and logic are very funny to watch, just as like time capsules of a specific time and vibe.
And it's also funny because like that even if they win, like you would never see that edit.
Yeah, it's also like what would winning be here, man?
Yeah.
Like you might get him in a position where he has nothing to say back to you, but this is his documentary.
Yeah.
You will not win.
Yeah, you will not win.
And anyway,
everybody
just a small diatribe
wants
of
their Sailor Moon Dasha iced coffee moment. Where we're like, healthcare, like.
Yeah, but that just Ava, you can bring up the interview you were going to bring up. I just wanted to do a little bit of my signature South Park both sidesism.
Yeah, and I mean, like again, like I don't even dislike Ray Comfort. I think it's funny about he was like the bananas.
Yeah, I kind of am endeared to Ray Comfort. I mean, far more than like the Wesley brothers of last week in terms of evangelical filmmakers. I also think Ray Comfort, I'd probably have
he was a puppeteer.
I'd probably have a better conversation with Ray Comfort than I would with Donald James Parker.
Yeah, I think Ray Comfort is just like I think he's a born again Christian.
That would make sense.
Yeah, because I think that he mentioned in like the one, because a big thing that he was saying to people like, you said you're a Christian when you were a kid, but you're not anymore. That means that you were never a Christian, like because you were too young to understand. Like you never really knew Christ, but now you can know Christ and you can be born again. He was doing a lot of that. But anyhow, the best interview was with these two like South African schoolgirls.
That's right. They're very funny.
Yes. Because this one girl like I think could not tell that he was being like that the interviewer is being so like dead ass serious. So she's kind of like answering the questions like in a really funny like kind of slay way.
Kind of sassy.
Like one of the questions is like, have you ever lusted over another man? And she goes, yes, all the time. Yeah. I do it constantly. Like really giving. She's really funny. I was like, this is a star, and she's so nice. I loved her.
And I mean, when he brings up, are you going to heaven or hell? She kind of goes like, oh, heaven. What do you mean?
Yeah, she's like, I'm a good person. I'm the best person.
Yeah.
I loved her. She absolutely slayed. And as I was watching, I'm like, get these annoying, creepy man on the street interviewers away from this awesome girl. You know, like, don't kill her spirit. She's awesome. But we were supposed to be like, I think there was like scary.
I think we were supposed
there was, like,
to be
scary
disappointed.
music. Well, there was scary music playing in the background during that interview because we were supposed to be like, look at these young lost harlots.
These women are so lost. Yeah.
These young lost harlots like laughing in the face of the word of God. But they were just slaying, and I think that they thought it was a casual conversation and then realized during the conversation that it was like serious.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which makes them awesome, and I loved them.
Well, I think before we pivot away from Christmas Gone Viral, we have to talk about the Gone Viral element.
Oh, yeah. So the Gone Viral element is in between like the sections of the boring ass interviews. There are boring ass clips from other YouTube videos.
Yeah, ripped from online, not produced in conjunction with the film, but they are downloaded from YouTube and given like the credits as courtesy so-and-so on YouTube.
Yeah, of flashmob singing like Hallelujah or like Carol of the Bells or whatever.
Yeah, they will sing Christmas songs in like public places, malls, wherever, and it will be like big choral flash mobs of like a church choir or a glee club like going and singing.
Yeah,
you know, "Oh Holy Night" in the middle of a mall food court, and
I was kind of really struck by the image of, and like you were saying, like, oh well, you know, the people that were in these flash mobs, like, you know, they're just like choral performers, like they're probably not even
or they
with,
could
like,
be,
but they're probably not even with like any Christian organization or whatever.
Or maybe they are, but there's a possibility.
Well, you mansplained this to me, but when we were watching it, but let me just say my thoughts, regardless of your mansplaining. I was really struck by like the optics of singing like hallelujah, 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 hallelujah in like a mall food court. Like, I was just kind of watching it like this is not a place of God, sis. This is not. No, like there's like a Chipotle behind you, you know, and an Auntie Anne's.
Yeah.
Like, this is like so like I just felt there's something I said the word degradation of society earlier, but I was really thinking about America. I'm like,
felt
damn.
discordant.
I'm like, oh man, America is just so like there's nothing. There's no spirit here.
Yeah,
if God is anywhere, it's not here, right? It's like,
yeah, I don't know. It's definitely
it's not in a Midwestern food court, that's for sure.
It definitely doesn't evoke, I think, the kind of like look how easily the spirit is spread kind of.
Yeah,
I think that's what Ray is going for when he cuts in these flash mobs, but it mostly is very strange. It's very, I mean, in terms of the flow of the documentary, it's very like, oh, now we're doing these random song sequences.
Yeah, but it's okay. So like, sorry, I'm still like thinking about like singing like a religious song
at the mall.
At the mall, it's like we don't have like the town square in most American cities or like neighborhoods, or like we don't have like the marketplace.
We don't, and even if we do, I would say that a main street USA is far less populated than it would have been even if it were like the turn of the not even 20 years ago.
Turn
the
of
mall
century.
I was going to say turn of the century of like the early 1900s because of like
car culture. Yeah, it's car culture and stuff like that because like, you know, like you imagine someone at the marketplace at the fruit and spice bazaar. You know, like I'm like, yeah, if everybody starts singing there, like, yeah, this is a place of God. Like, yeah, there's a place of commerce, but like, you know, like I'm getting the bread to
feed my family.
And it's not like, oh, I'm getting the light up Skechers. I'm getting the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, it's so depressing.
So you're saying it would have been better if they did it at a Giant or like a Safeway or Whole Foods.
It would be better in the New York subway system.
Okay.
That's better, but it would piss me off. Like, if I was in a subway, it would piss me off. You know, I hate it. Like, okay, like, you know, like I love like the culture of the world, and like I love like art, and I love like the concept of like public art and like public performance.
Living in a vibrant city.
Yeah, I love like that as a concept. Like I'm so for that, you know. Like I will never like vote for any legislation that stops that. That being said, I cannot fucking stand it when someone is singing in the subway.
Damn.
On any, like whether it is a licensed person,
like a busker, or whether it's just drunk
like
friends.
A drunk person. Oh my god. Yeah, like any level of it in any form, it just absolutely makes me I shouldn't say. It makes me totally just like so upset to be there.
Bam.
It's like I'm like it literally almost makes me wish I was in a car.
Coming out against subway singing. Ava Sophia
Singing,
Brown.
dancing, musical instruments.
You don't like when you don't what?
I feel like the first time
you're no fan of Showtime.
I hate Showtime. No, Showtime I hate. Like I can actually deal with like I remember on the 7 sometimes the mariachi band comes on.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of cool because it's like, oh, it's a mariachi band, but also it's like, oh my god, it's like 5 guys in sombreros. And like it's like really crowded in here, and like I'm tired, or like if I'm on the 7, I'm trying to get to Hudson Yards to like take the bus to Philly or whatever, you know. So I'm like, oh my god, I have like my suitcase, and there's a mariachi band in here. I'm like, stop. But Showtime, it's like, oh, so someone is gonna like jump on a pole and like swing his legs and like hit me in the face. Like,
but he never does.
You almost got hit in the face the one time by Showtime. Remember that?
But he never did. It never happened.
Yeah. I mean, respect. I'm never going to be like, stop doing that.
You're never going to come out as anti-breakdancing.
I'm never going to say, like, don't break dance. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to, like knock on Mayor Adams' door and say, like, you need to stop these subway breakdancers. I don't care. Like, I don't actually care. I'm just saying, personally, it annoys me. If that makes sense.
So you're saying that there's nowhere in the world that you think that these wonderful flash mobs that great comfort of people singing Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
They can do it in the Fruit and Spice Bazaar. Okay.
Those don't exist anymore.
When we bring those back.
What about those like Christmas villages that they have in downtowns and cities?
That's perfect because like why would I be there?
Is perfect for that.
It's literally like perfect because like why? Because first of all, like I'm not going to be there.
Or if you are there, you're there for Christmas shit.
Yeah, I'm like you're consenting to the Christmas.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I think also one thing to bring up just to kind of wrap out the film because I feel like we don't have a lot more to say on this one.
Yeah, I mean, like
short
it's pretty
one,
like to the point.
Pretty straightforward. I do think that the flash mobs edited in is also very interesting as kind of a cultural time capsule because I do think that 2017 is in and of itself a little late to be thinking of it like this.
It's very late for flash mobs.
I do love the idea of Christmas going viral by we're evangelizing on the street, but how do we represent Christmas going viral? Flash mobs. Flash mob or singing flash mobs, not even the dancing ones, the ones where one person starts singing and then someone else stands up and starts singing in the food court, and then suddenly from out of all the stores an entire church choir, glee club, community choir, whatever is coming out to sing Angels We Have Heard on High.
I mean, flash mobs feel very outdated to me. I think of like the Howie Mandel
Mobbed. We watched Mobbed in like that was a COVID lockdown in our apartment
I was like,
in Philadelphia.
have you heard
thing.
of Mobbed?
Yeah.
And we were watching because it's so silly.
It's very interesting.
It was just such a because like it was usually like, oh, we're gonna help you set up a flash mob to like tell your boyfriend that you're breaking up with him.
Yeah, or like they would
or
always
to propose,
be like,
you know?
It would be like, we have a flash mob where you're going to thank your brother for all the help that you he gave you during your drug rehab journey.
Yeah, it's like really awkward. So that was a good show. But I mean, yeah, I think of like early 2010s when I think of flash mobs. I think that's when it took off in popularity.
2012 is the flash mob year.
Yeah, because it had to coincide with like YouTube at its height.
Harlem Shake grows out of the flash mob.
But I will say that I think flash mobs are coming back because every fucking Gen Alpha, young Gen Z person, because we're older Gen Z, young Gen Z person is freaking filming their TikToks publicly in Target. Which I feel like is like a relative of the idea of flash mobbing.
In public dance content
is so popular.
So back.
Everybody is like literally
Everyone's dancing in
twerking
public, making their thing.
in Walmart and Target. I hate America. It's like so stupid. It's like oh, I'm gonna get famous by doing ballet in the Walmart. It's like stop. I'm doing interpretive hip hop in the Target aisle. It's like just like stop.
Damn.
Right, Bo? It's so like, what is going on with our world? We need to get back in the day, like in year -1.
Year -1.
Like in year -1, which is what our next movie is about.
That's right. Our movie is actually about the final hours of year -1.
What is it actually? Wait, would it be like?
It would be year 0.
No, but it's like the year before year 0 because Jesus was born in 0 AD.
So that would be 1 before Common Era or before Christ.
1 BCE. I wasn't sure if it would be like 9,099 BCE.
Doesn't 1 year before Christ
Yeah, it goes
means
backwards.
before Christ.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
1 BCE to year 0. Do we do 0 or do we do right into 1 AD with Jesus?
I think AD starts going up.
No, but I'm saying like is AD like is 0 AD or is it 1 AD?
I don't know, man. You got to look this up.
Like is there a year 0?
All right, let's see.
I'm always thinking about being born in year 0. That's so
1
random.
AD or year 0.
But like we're kind of low key built.
Historians have
0.
never included a year 0. This is from Wikipedia.
Okay.
I'm not looking at the AI overview.
That means that in between that between, for example, 1 January BC and 1 January AD, there are 999 years.
I see.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. No year 0.
So we go from 1 BC to 1 AD.
Okay. So this takes place in 1 BC.
So we're moving too fast. We're moving too
of-
fast. We're moving too fast. We have to give Christmas Gone Viral a snowball
my God.
ranking. We have to rank it. So,
What is your snowball ranking?
I haven't really thought about this. We've been so busy with other stuff, with this film festival, with
my
just finding
God.
time to screen the films, edit the podcast, record the podcast. I haven't added this to my giant film ranking, so I haven't been able to like compare it. I definitely think it's better and like less evil than like Christmas Party softcore porn movie or like A Law for Christmas, which was just completely terrible. But I don't think it can be much better than that just because it's so repetitive and also boring.
What did we rate Law for Christmas?
We gave that 1 snowball.
Because I feel like this is a 1 snowball.
I was generally thinking 1 snowball, and I don't think that it's because it's particularly noxious,
This is boring.
but it's just boring and unproductive.
And like I was so excited because the trailer for this movie seems so awesome. Like
It was
'cause-
exciting.
Oh, because like remember the Santa Claus that was like speaking, but
yeah,
like
he was like, "My name is Bob, and I'm an alcoholic."
yeah, but I feel like he also said something else on a documentary. He was like, "I'm Santa." Oh crap! All right, when
You're
we
not cursing on this episode,
in the edit.
but I have, so we have to mark this as explicit.
Why would I curse in this episode when this episode is about keeping the Christ in Christmas?
That's
okay.
true.
So we will edit in this line that Santa Claus
Yeah.
says yes because he has his voice and what he says was so funny when we watched it. So your guys are gonna love it too. You guys are gonna love it too, and Will's gonna do that for us.
Yeah. Well, I don't know when he's gonna do that, but,
But he's gonna do it.
yeah.
Okay,
So
one
yeah, I
snowball.
think it's a 1 snowball for Christmas Gone Viral 2017 from director Ray Comfort. Ray Comfort, though, I'm gonna put a pin in that. He might be interesting for later exploration.
Ray Comfort, have you ever considered making a narrative film?
Yeah, we would love to.
I would be highly interested in narrative film. I think if you did a narrative film, it would get like a 3 or 4 snowball.
Yeah, I mean,
He feels like
Yeah, I'll
it's
say
a
that.
breeding.
Why not?
It feels like a breeding ground for a high snowball ranking.
Yeah, sure.
because he has the sunglasses on.
Sunglasses on his dog was a big move.
Yeah,
Ray.
it's like you want to see. I don't know. That's like the type of imagery I want to see.
You want to see a guy like that get the camera on in his hand.
You want to see a guy like that reviewed by Will and Ava's Christmas movie marathon.
Exactly. Speaking of which, our Christmas tree. We've been so busy we didn't have time to put up our Christmas tree till last night.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You dropped one of the.
Let me put it back.
Flipping snowflakes. No, don't fuck it up anymore. Just don't touch anything else.
But this is our Christmas tree. Ava made this beautiful paper garland too.
Yeah.
We trimmed the tree last night.
I feel like our tree is so ugly and looks so chungus and so cheap and just so
it's
terrible.
A little tree. We live in a little apartment.
I just feel like it looks so bad.
We live in a little apartment. We bought it our first year here, and we didn't have a lot of money. I was wasn't making a lot of money.
I'm working late because I'm a singer.
Do you? We should watch that for the podcast. Doesn't she have a Christmas movie?
I cannot watch that special. That special looks like it would literally just make me absolutely suicidal.
Every time I see a clip from it, I'm like,
it looks terrible.
So it's hokey but self-aware. And it's it does not seem like something that I'm interested in seeing.
It looks highly annoying, in my opinion.
I'm kind of like...
Also, I'm not going to review a freaking Netflix Christmas special. It's already bad enough that we're reviewing a high-budget Netflix film next.
Yeah. Well, it's not a Netflix movie, I'll say. Not produced by Netflix. That being said, I think there are things about the scope and the execution of this that make it kind of... fall into our categories, but I agree. We had some vision of the podcast moral debates about covering this next film because it doesn't technically fit into the low budget category because it's a very well financed film with some legitimate Hollywood names involved. The director is also a guy that has stuff. It's also produced by Affirm Films, who aren't a big faith-based production company, but are probably the most prominent and prestige ones out there. They don't even make those God's Not Dead movies. Their breakthrough was War Room, but they've since kind of gone into the legitimate biopic mainstream. Yeah. They did that big George Foreman movie that got some C-tier Oscar buzz last year.
Yeah, and they also made Star.
Yeah, the animated Christian children's film.
Now that's something that I would watch.
But that's who it comes from. That's the main financial backing. Then there's also independent production companies that have done a few projects here or there. One of which, Monarch Media, who I believe is a specific producer, helped finance and produce Hitman, the Richard Linklater, Glenn Powell film. But our director, Adam Anders, we were just yapping about how much Glenn Powell sucks the other night. This has become a bit of a cultural criticism interlude between our two Christian Christmas films. But yeah, Glenn Powell, I would say the jury's still out on him in my opinion. I hear that he excels specifically in Hitman. But I've seen his two big breakthrough movies, Anyone But You and Twisters. Man, he's a whole lot of nothing from my vantage point.
Yeah, they're trying to make it a thing. It's not a thing.
But hey, as a man who one day wants to work and make a living in the entertainment industry,
we love you, Glenn Powell.
I say, Glenn Powell, I'm yours to be won over as a fan, and I look forward to the day I meet you as a colleague.
It says, Glenn Powell, my body is yours.
So
my body and mind is yours.
And I say this about all the filmmakers we work with or cover on this show. Adam Anders, Ray Comfort. I don't want to make. I know no judgment on you. It's just purely how I receive the film that I'm seeing. That said, judgment upon the Wesley brothers, bad hombres. But the director of Journey to Bethlehem from 2023, our second Christian Christmas film we're covering on the show today, is a gentleman named Adam Anders, who was an executive, or maybe not an executive producer, but a producer and composer who worked on the television series Glee on Fox, the big sensation Glee, and also worked on the Rock of Ages movie. This is a guy who, this is his breakout directing debut. This is his first film he's directed. He also did the music for it, I believe, with his wife. I didn't really do a lot of research, and his writing partner, who he worked on Rock of Ages and Glee with, they did the music and he directed it. This is Journey to Bethlehem. Ava, what is Journey to Bethlehem about?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Journey to Bethlehem is a musical about the reason for the season. It is about the Immaculate Conception of Jesus Christ.
That's correct.
But it is also about like Mary and Joseph's arranged marriage.
Their courtship. And this is interesting. This is a movie that I think
it hits a really weird space with that.
I think in a attempt to make relatable, modernize, and also make just their own unique spin on it. They really focus on Mary and Joseph as young people in an arranged marriage.
Yeah, and I mean, like, or I guess, like, you know, the arranged, like, engagement, right?
Yes, yeah.
And Mary, I think that, like, the goal for this was to be... Like,
Mary, played by Fiona Palmo.
I think the goal for this was to be a little liberal, a little woke, but also very inoffensive.
Yes, I think this is a crowd pleaser film,
yes,
and I think if that's what it's trying to do, I think it hits the mark.
Well, I guess Christ is a crowd pleaser.
Well, yeah.
So the way that they do it is that, you know, Mary. Sorry, I'm not trying to laugh.
But you did laugh. You laughed very. You made a decision to laugh.
Mary is her true goal in life is not just to be a wife and a mother. She wants to be a teacher,
like her father.
Which, like, okay, so, like, cool idea. I think there's actually something kind of interesting about, like, oh, what if Mary had ever, like, goals in life other than being, like, a wife? Even though that feels like if you want to be historical about it. It's like...
And why not?
Yeah, if you want to be historical about it, like, you, as a woman in that time, are socially conditioned not to be interested in that at all. And that what you're socially conditioned as a woman to want is to be married at a young age to someone with some degree of, like, wealth or power or basically just, like...
Property.
Yeah, because you are going to become his property also. Like, that is the arrangement of your life, and that's the social conditioning. I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I'm just saying that's how it's conditioned. And
certain things within the Bible emphasize that. Again, not even saying good, bad thing, X, Y, or Z. Certain things within it are, like, certain rules are to uphold that social structure, just to keep. Essentially as rules, as laws.
Yeah, they're laws, they're property laws, and they're also have to do with, like, the treatment of, like, women. It's like, okay, when you take this woman as a property, you have to, like, take care of her in this way, but also you don't have to in this in this way. All these rules. Okay. So as a woman, you probably wouldn't really have, like, this bucking against, like, but father, I don't want to marry him. I want to be a teacher. Like, that feels a little bit out of the realm of possibility in this time period. Or at least, like, it wouldn't really be, like, a discussion, most likely. You know, I doubt even as, like, a woman you'd even, like, kind of, like, question or argue with your father. That's just my first reaction to it. I did, like, doubt. Second reaction is there's something very biblically, it really asserts a lot, and I don't think it was intending to be like Mary wanted to be a teacher, because as we know, the word for teacher in at that time as, like, a young Jewish woman is rabbi. So Mary's like, I want to be rabbi. Because there's no elementary school in Bethlehem, guys. Like, there's no, like, there's no Bethlehem High. Like, I'm the cheerleader at Bethlehem High, and this is my history teacher at Bethlehem High. That doesn't exist.
The two, and we said this during the screening. It would be like, so Joseph is either the guy at his trade who is, like, instructing carpenters how to carpent, or he is a rabbi. He's a religious. He's a religious academic.
Yeah, rabbi just means teacher, and, like, you know, like, it varies depending on tribe and culture, but rabbi means teacher, and, like, and if you're, like, a teacher and you teach like, the history of your culture, which is also religion.
Yes.
So, like, Mary saying I want to be a rabbi has this weird kind of, like, Christological like angle of like, so Mary always wanted to be a teacher, but she couldn't be that. So God blessed her with a son.
That was the ultimate.
That was the ultimate teacher. Because I mean, obviously, guys, if we read the book, Jesus like always like, I am rabbi. Jesus like, I'm rabbi.
If you read the book,
look, if you
Journey to
I
Bethlehem.
didn't just watch the movie. I also read the book.
Journey
and
to Bethlehem, was the book better?
I think the book might have been better.
Here's the thing though, the
I
Bible
think
doesn't have any musical numbers that sound like Imagine Dragons songs.
Or Muse.
Or Muse. Yeah, we'll get to that though.
But the Bible definitely is not as musically inclined as this musical, but I will say that the Bible does hit emotional beats a little bit better. I'll give the Bible that.
So we're
but I can lock in.
Do it.
I can lock in. So Mary is like, but Father, I want to be a teacher. I don't want to just be a wife. And this whole the whole plot of this film, until the Immaculate Conception and all the other stuff that goes along with it, is kind of like Mary like being unsure if she wants to enter into this, or like upset that she's entering into this arranged marriage, but not like really upset, like not in a way that's like upsetting to watch, because again, like I think there's like an interesting, more adult oriented movie about like like the real historical Mary as like a young woman, being potentially in some sort of arranged marriage, because most marriages were at least like co-signed by a father at the very least. Rearranged to some degree, like entering that marriage and then like having like this insane burden of being the carrier of the fucking Son of God, and how that relationship with Joseph would be immediately stressed very early on in their relationship. That was not a love marriage.
Yeah. Well, and that
all of this is very interesting, but it's never handled with that adult like themes of fear, right? Because that would be really scary as a woman.
Okay. For Mary, she's never terribly afraid of like the angel Gabriel or the prospect of being captured by King Herod's men.
I'm not even saying that. I'm talking about her relationship with her husband.
Yes.
Like, that would be like if I was making an adult movie, because this movie is for families, so it's different.
Yes. For sure.
The adult movie, I feel like, would like focus on like that kind of like fear of entering into this relationship. Having something that is inexplicable, but also like the most socially taboo thing that could happen to you, which is like early in your marriage being impregnated by like, it seems like another man.
Yeah.
Or
though Joseph's anguish is depicted.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has a whole song. Something about this girl makes me believe her. Something about this girl. I feel like but then the dark side of him is like, something about this girl says she's a liar.
Yeah. It's so silly. But she gets like this song that's like her like girlfriends.
Oh yeah, she's
like,
got two girlfriends.
Yeah, because she has like two.
Mary's besties.
She has two besties, and her besties are like, oh
Mary,
my god,
Mary, it's the thing to do. Mary's getting married.
Yeah, her besties are hyping her up like, no, marriage is gonna be lit. It's like
your husband's gonna have eyes for only you.
It's gonna be lit. Like it's gonna be a whole ass vibe.
And this was the number where, because we open on the Three Kings, I should note, and they're like terrible. They are comedy characters, and it's kind of like, oh man, this is the tone that the movie's striking. I'm not Mr. Sanctimonious, but it is very just like, okay, so this is like a fluffy Christian, like a fluffy Bible story, like
because the wise men are like, oh, we wise guys.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Also, like we were cracking up because like, so like they have like all the wise men there's like hanging out together in the beginning, like they're all like in their tent.
Their names,
Balthasar.
Gaspar is played by Rizwan Manji. Melchior is Omid Dijali. And Gino Seegers plays Balthazar. These are all like character actors that have been like in Disney XD shows, Wolf of Wall Street, XYZ.
I mean, the whole movie feels like Disney orbiting actor types.
Yes.
Never the
never the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Well, that's actually not true, because Milo Manheim has a bit of a following who plays Joseph of Nazareth, because though it's Disney, he is the lead central character of the Zombies franchise on Disney.
Well,
but you were saying the Three Wise Men.
The Three Wise Men are like very like silly, goofy guys. They're all like living in the same tent together. like looking at the stars, like, oh, we crazy magi, we're so goofy.
Gaspar is like depicted as like this guy that can't put down the dates. He's always eating.
Yeah, it's so like, yeah. But they also have they definitely have slaves though.
That was the interesting thing, is they have these beautiful young women who are like, they're like servants.
Yeah, and I'm watching this, and I love history. I'm watching this. I'm like, that's your concubine.
Yeah, that's crazy that they gave these guys concubines.
You gave them concubines. That's crazy.
Melchior and Balthazar have
because they have light skinned like Ethiopian baddie like Habasha
two beautiful
like
young women. Gaspar has a young man.
Gaspar's gay.
Now what the fuck is going on there?
What is up with that?
But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, and that's fucking blasphemy, so don't fucking say that.
And not to do any editorializing, and not to do any blaspheme. And I actually think Gaspar, the Magi, can do whatever he wants.
I actually think it's fine.
But I think so getting that out of the way, I was kind of like, okay. And then Mary's very like plucky and like
she's like a girl boss, but she's not doing too much,
and it's okay. It's I'm like, all right, okay.
It's definitely not as bad as you would like think like a girl boss Mary character would be.
And I also think that like another thing that put me off was the opening credits are O Come Emmanuel, but this very like
yeah, I think like all of the songs are pretty terrible. There was one song that
but I took when Mary, 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 It's the Thing to Do started. I was like, this is lit.
See,
this is awesome.
I thought all these songs were so terrible.
It's like kitschy. It's
No,
fun.
it was so bad.
There were big dance numbers.
It was so bad. All it made me think was the fact that it's like
everything that everyone is like is good and wicked is in this movie.
No, absolutely not. I all that this movie made me think of was the fact that like in like the 60s and 70s, like people could easily write musicals about Jesus that like sounded great.
Now we're just talking about a completely unfair comparison.
But no, it's not unfair, because it's like just write songs that sound good.
No, I completely agree.
And write songs that are beautiful.
How
hard is it to write a song that's beautiful?
I think that the passion is much more fertile ground for very adult songwriting, and the 70s was a much more fertile time in terms of the palette at the time for Stephen Schwartz and Andrew Lloyd Webber to make like very like authentic rock theater songs for Jesus Christ Superstar and Godspell.
Yeah, maybe it's because like all modern music sounds pretty bad.
Yeah,
like more or less.
Well, and yeah, I mean, these all kind of sound like Imagine Dragons, very sterile like rock palette songs, and like a musician that I really love, like Bruce Springsteen. His 70s and 80s output is it's some of the best recorded rock music ever, whereas his modern stuff, the songs are great, the performances are still great, and there's also some admirable production, but it's a lot more sterile and clean and sounds more akin to like that. I keep dogging on them, but that Imagine Dragons sound in the modern way that things are recorded.
Yeah, I mean, this all would even sound better if fucking Jack Antonoff produced it.
That might be true.
Can you imagine?
Has Jack Antonoff ever produced a musical or like wrote a musical?
Let's get into it.
He might make it good on that.
I mean, this would definitely sound better if it was like Lin-Manuel doing it.
Probably.
And that's not even me being like, oh, Lin-Manuel writes like amazing things all the time. You know, I think a lot of his stuff is kind of a mixed bag, but like I think that he can like consistently make movie musical numbers that are like good.
Mary is getting married. Mary, you're so contrary. You didn't like that?
I didn't like it because I also thought it was a dumb song.
Mary, 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 it's the thing to do.
It was just so weird. It was just
kind
weird.
of,
it just hit in it again. Like it just hit this really weird, like middling space of like not like being like like you're talking about her being in an arranged marriage, but like you're talking about it in like kind of like a Disney princess way, maybe.
Yeah, it's like kind of like how Jasmine talks about being in an arranged marriage, more than like if we want to really get into the reality of what it was like to be a woman like Mary at the time in you know the biblical Bethlehem and biblical Jerusalem, it would have that's a intense, very different from the world we live in topic.
Or I mean like I don't know, it's like
but it's also a family movie.
Yeah, I know it's a family movie. Ugh, but like
it's like for kids. It's for the family to watch together.
But I feel like even like okay, like in like Aladdin, you know, with Jasmine being like, I'm not your prize to be won. You know, like I feel like there's like some legitimate like feminist like pushing up against the idea of it that feels like realistic in the context of the film more so than this movie. And I think it's just because like I don't know, well, because ultimately we're like, well, you know, she's not going to be like upset when she marries Joseph, because that would be like a crazy, like, if it's a family movie, you know, but he's never going to really do anything in this movie that will like meaningfully like make her realize like, no, like I'm okay with this, I love him, or my dad was right. It kind of just has to be like that in the narrative.
Yeah, well, the way that it kind of progresses, well, I guess we can get into more of the plot, but the way it more progresses is that they meet kind of by happenstance at a market and have a flirty thing, and then they meet at their like,
you harlot, how dare you, you're an engaged woman, you're flirting with a random man in the marketplace.
They meet at like the family party. They kind of are like, can we make this work? They have a song together, but they kind of go their separate ways, especially after the Immaculate Conception, which we'll get into. But kind of the way she is won over is Joseph kind of falls hard and falls first, and shows that like he's devoted to her.
Yeah.
Which I guess in the context,
the power of luck
makes sense.
The power of luck.
So the well,
no, it's God's plan. God's plan.
We're introduced to our villain, the evil King Herod, played in a scenery-chewing, delightful performance by the great Antonio Banderas, who you might know from one of any number of his
films.
Famous roles.
Puss in Boots.
Yep, Puss in Boots, a staple in the Pedro Almodovar repertory company.
Spy Kids.
The Spy Kids films. He was Zorro.
He was great in this movie because immediately you could tell that he understood that he was in a kids movie. So he was totally like hamming it up, like being like, I'm evil,
He's
and like
fun
being
to watch.
crazy in it.
His one like big song is like, it's the song that most sounds like a Muse song. The mine is the kingdom.
It actually sounds like the Muse song.
But he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, it sounds
he's great.
It sounds like the Muse song. They will not control us.
Yes, yeah.
We will be victorious.
Did you ever have to analyze a Muse song in ELA in high school?
Absolutely not.
I did.
That is crazy.
Yeah, we had to break down a Muse song. I feel like there's
when I was a kid, I liked that Muse song. Because that came out in like 2011.
I feel like there's more to like break down, and maybe it's because the content is more not as school appropriate. But I feel like there's more like lyrical analysis you could do in the offhanded Rage Against the Machine song than a Muse song.
Yeah, but they're not gonna.
That's true. They don't want to. They don't want to.
You're gonna radicalize the kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
Some of those that work forces are the same that born courses.
In school, they made us analyze food.
And
we're like, so this is the type of food. So that's the type of food. And this is a reference to a woman's vagina.
Eat up all the MCs and drink them under the table. He's talking about how he drinks too much.
Yeah, we all want to analyze
awesome.
rap.
The kids
rap,
are into MF Doom right now.
Yeah, well, because he died.
I think that plays a role. I also think that because the kids are very into Tyler the Creator, they're like, okay, who's he a big fan of? And that's probably the most forefront like inspiration of Tyler the Creator.
And I think that's probably
Kanye,
probably how I got into MF Doom when I was a kid.
Yeah,
because I was big into Tyler Creator. I was in like Odd Future, Wolfgang, kill them all.
Yeah, they're big MF Doom fans.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And I think also like his music is like well, kids probably also like it because the music isn't like super sexual.
It's a little goofy.
It's like goofy. It's about food,
but it's also it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's like superhero stuff. I always liked it because I liked all the like
Dr. Doom.
Yeah, Dr. Doom cartoon samples.
That's right. He
stuff.
would also sample like wacky races.
Yeah, and I'm a big Boomerang fan.
You love fucking Penelope Pitstop.
I used to watch Penelope Pitstop every morning when I was a kid. So I'm like fucking weird.
Me, I know Hanna-Barbera is shit.
Yeah, I don't care about it, that Hanna-Barbera
No,
is
I'm
bad.
joking. That's always discourse. Whenever like Hanna-Barbera kind of like has like a thing going on social media, everybody's always
when
like,
you're in our when you're in our fucking algorithm,
Yeah,
you're
everyone-
talking about something that no one else has ever seen on social media.
everyone's always like, Magilla Gorilla used recycled animation, and it's like, okay,
yeah, like so.
okay.
Disney uses fucking recycled animation.
Fucking BoJack Horseums is made in the goddamn computer.
Yeah, no, exactly. And guess what? I like Magilla Gorilla, but I
We
didn't.
got a gorilla for
I
sale.
was about to say,
Magilla Gorilla
but
for
I
sale.
don't like that freaking boomerang bumper.
You
I was
don't like
reading,
that song?
I was reading that all the boomerang bumpers were they were made in like the 90s and
did
recycled,
that?
and they never made new ones. So like
Oh.
that's why like like all the freaking bumpers are like there's like 5 of them, and they played so often. Isn't that so funny?
What's the who
We got a
did
gorilla
the
for sale.
who did the rap song?
And apparently they only gave the people making the bumpers like fucking like $55, you know, so that's why they all look like kind of like not so great. Got a gorilla for sale.
What's the one that's like the back to the lab again? We messed up. The Dexter's Laboratory one,
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting.
that's a Cartoon Network one though.
Cartoon Network groovies.
That's different, Ben. Don't play it. It's gonna be so loud.
It is loud.
I feel like you keep forgetting that our headphones are attached.
Who is? I can't find the rapper that did that song.
But the boomerang bumpers, like I thought that was funny, but it's like they gave like the animators making them like fucking like 55 cents, and are like, make us 10 bumpers for the next 20 years,
Yeah.
and yeah, my grandma used to hate the gorilla for sale
What?
one, well, because it would play over and over and over again, and it's just that one line, got a gorilla for sale, gorilla for sale.
It's it was performed by.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at who rapped it. Dariki Mack.
The first line
was
the first line in this article is very little was known about Gorilla for Sale
And many of the other Cartoon Network groovies. Well, we're getting off topic. We're talking about Cartoon Network groovies. We're talking about Metal Face.
Yeah. Okay. So King Herod has a good number in it.
Yeah, Antonio Banderas choose the scenery. The big thing we're introduced to when it comes to King Herod is that he's a mad monarch, and he has the captain of his royal guard
Yeah.
is his own son,
Yeah.
played by Christian rock pop singer Joel Smallbone, who also has a big barn burning pop number.
Yeah, which is so bad. When they introduce the son, Antonio Banderas has a great line. It's like, "Oh, hello, my firstborn son.
Yes,
How are
yeah,
you?"
He has one of those great lines.
I love a line that's like, "Oh, I'm so happy I'm with you, my son, and we're doing what we always do together."
That's one of those lines that's like, we've been friends for 15 years now?
It was good. But yeah, and if you're Banderas, he plays it like kind of like he's like drunk or something.
Yeah.
He does like kind of like drunk. He's like, ugh.
He's very like slinky and like
He's like falling down.
He's always like you get the sense that he's always making the most like rash and on the turn of the spur of the moment kind of maniacal decisions.
Yeah, so that was fun, I guess.
And so Mary, you know this story, guys. It's the story of the Nativity.
It's kind of like a little straightforward, right?
Mary is visited in a dream from the Archangel Gabriel, sent from God, played here by a rapper named Lecrae.
Mm-hmm.
And he also, in kind of this, tongue-in-cheek kind of modernization of the Nativity, when he first shows up, he's like, okay, we got it. You're the angel Gabriel. You can do this. We got this. All right. And then like talks to Mary.
It's kind of crazy that they gave the angel Gabriel cornrows.
Well, he's the angel Gabriel. Who knows what angel Gabriel looks like?
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting him to be black.
You're like
the joke is like I just wasn't expecting him to be Chinese.
or I don't know that joke. I was thinking you were like saying like I wasn't expecting my doctor to be a woman kind of expectation.
Yeah. It's also that. Well, there's a joke. It's like I know it was great. I just wasn't expecting it to be Chinese. I think it's like you go to heaven and everybody's Chinese and you're like, oh, it's great, but I wasn't expecting it to be Chinese.
That's interesting.
That's how I felt about
the Archangel Gabriel having cornrows.
I was like, I just wasn't expecting him to be black. But I think it was chill. Like, I'm not like against it, obviously, because like that's fine. None of it's real anyhow. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings when they're like, oh, why did they make these elves black? It's like, well, it's not real.
Dude, Lore of the Rings.
Lore of the Rings. Think about that? Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. It is real. Sorry.
Mine is the glory.
Oh, the fucking King song. It was made me laugh so hard because the song is called like "It's Good to Be King," and I always think
the
freaking
Mel Brooks, History of the World Part 1. Yeah. It's good to be the king.
It's
yeah, it's literally called...
or in Paws of Fury.
It's good to be the Shogun.
Yeah, what is the full title?
Paws of Fury: The Legend of Hank.
The Legend of Hank. Yeah, it's good to be the Shogun.
Yeah, Mel Brooks. It always makes me think of Mel Brooks too.
Yeah,
we both laughed when the song begins with him going, "It's good to be king."
Yeah, it's like he said the thing. Yeah. He said the thing. It's good to be king.
It's good to be the king. So Mary gets visited by the Archangel Gabriel. You know what she's told. She's gonna carry the Son of God and be and the Immaculate Conception happens.
Yeah, she's like, what, from the prophecy?
So he will name him
Jesus.
Emmanuel. And everybody finds out what's going on with Mary. Joseph is...
Will, can you explain the Emmanuel Jesus thing to the audience really quick?
Not off the top of my head.
You can't?
No, I know
I thought you had a religious education.
I did. And Emmanuel, we didn't really cover the meat and potatoes of it all. But,
I feel like everyone with religious education never can answer like the questions that are actually like, that's what I want to know.
So I believe...
O come Emmanuel. Look it up. Emmanuel Jesus. You can't even type. It's a pretty name. Me and Callum always like the O come Emmanuel song.
It's a good song. That's
because it goes really deep. It's like, oh, come. We would always try to sing it like we were in a monk choir.
In the opening chapter of the Gospel of Matthew tells of a Messiah will be called Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins, and also is called Emmanuel, which means God is with us, or God with us. The entire gospel narrative comes to a close with Jesus Emmanuel standing in the presence of his disciples.
Wait, so like Emmanuel's like his middle name? Slay.
Yeah. That's interesting.
That's like how they call you Will, but they also call you John.
No one calls me John. What are you talking about? But so she tells Joseph, and he, as you know, is initially very wary, because when your girl comes to you saying that she's pregnant, you know she's gonna say anything.
You have not hit that yet.
Fellas, when you haven't hit that yet and your girl comes to you and tells you she's pregnant, you know she's gonna say anything to explain it. So he kind of has a crisis of conscience, and that is depicted musically and visually by, in a dream, that eventually the Archangel Gabriel will also speak to Joseph. But in this dream, he is the two sides. His two opinions on this are animated as in kind of like Assassin's Creed kind of like hood wear. Hooded like tunic wear. There is a black hood Joseph who is doing the something about this girl, says she's a liar, and then the white hooded Joseph is saying something about this girl makes me believe her. So they're fighting over, do we believe and help Mary? Do we disbelieve and spurn her? Do we break off our engagement?
Yeah.
And the good side, this side of the truth and the light, wins over, and he tears off to go meet Mary where she's staying with her relative Elizabeth, and her husband. What's her?
I didn't even know about I didn't know about this Elizabeth chick, but apparently this is a character.
This is true. There's a relative of Mary's who is pregnant late in life, also by a miracle, Zachariah. And Joseph comes, and they're secretly married, so that because King Herod has caught wind from the three magi that there is a
like the king of the Jews.
Yeah, there's going to be a king to be born of a woman with no husband. And so King Herod sends his son and his guards out to find this virgin who is pregnant and has no husband. And so Joseph is like, they'll be thrown off the trail if we get married. And I love you. And so they get married, and they're closer than they ever were before. The three magi, though, when they show up to tell King Herod this, they want access to his books so they can find him. And King Herod uses that information to then go send the guards to try to snuff it out before and also to trail the wise men after they do their research. They give him gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and they sing a song called Three Wise Guys.
Yeah.
And the song is like, we magi are three wise guys. My Christmas tree.
You partied too close to the sun.
I did.
Yeah. They also do like this joke that it's like, oh, like everybody knows who frankincense is and everybody knows what gold is, but what the heck in
What
Chungus?
the heck is myrrh?
What is myrrh?
I don't even know what myrrh is, and I'm giving it to the guy.
They also are trying to be like, in this, they're trying to do this whole thing of like, oh, obviously the best gift is the gold.
Yes.
Which, you know, I'm like, ding. Actually, they're basically of equal value. Frankincense was expensive.
Very valuable.
It was valuable.
It's interesting.
It's incense.
They also the song where they're doing the three wise guys or three magi or three wise guys. They oh, nice, sweet. They like basically are like, you know, they it's kind of like a patter song. The wise men do like, tell me about frankincense. What is a dendersense? Which is like, it's very, very, very funny.
Yeah, I only remember we magi are. Like, I know that there was other lyrics and stuff, but it kind of like went over my head.
Yeah. So,
Herod's son gets like a song.
Yeah, he has kind of like a crisis of conscience.
Yeah, he has like just like a terrible like rock and roll Imagine Dragons song.
He has like a song where he's like, am I doomed to be like my father, or can I be my own man, which is like is it in my blood is it in my
they needed a homosexual director in this film because you don't agree? Well, because I just feel like it was just filmed.
No, I'm saying like you know, who knows what lies within men's hearts.
Yeah, but it wasn't filmed in like. I feel like, you know, when
you think Bob Fosse would have done a better job with this?
Yes.
I mean, I obviously agree.
Yes, I 100% think that.
You know who I think could have done a good job? I don't know about his sexual orientation, but this is a movie that could have been done by Kenny Ortega.
Is that Jenny Ortega's dad or something?
No, this is the guy that directed the High School Musical films and was Michael Jackson's kind of choreographer.
Yeah, totally.
And interestingly enough, the screenwriter that isn't Adam, Peter Barsocci, his most prominent previous credits are as a co-writer on all three High School Musical films.
Well, I'm saying that they need a homosexual director specifically for that scene because like in like this like power ballad, like masculine ballad, I'm like, we need some hip thrusts.
Well, you know what it reminded me of?
We need some cock shots. Like we need something just to like keep it visually interesting because it was boring. It was like these big like overhead bird's eye view shots of like him and his guards like being like hua hua hua. Like, oh my god, it's so boring. It's like, no, like let's mix this up a little bit. And I think that's something that you need the homosexual eye for.
No, exactly. I also think like it reminded me of Bajiro Mastani, the
but like
Marhali song, and it just made me think about how much better the Bollywood version of this movie would be.
Oh yeah. Well, Bollywood like is awesome because like it's modern musicals that are awesome, like with songs like fucking slap.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because like in India, like the pop culture has like maybe more of like a cohesiveness to how music sounds. So like when they do the musical theater version of like pop songs, it doesn't sound so like weird and like sterile and dumb.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like so many like pop musicals in America, the songs sound like dumb.
No, yeah.
You're like, is this for kids? Like, it's like weird. It's like in this weird space all the time.
So they make it to the manger. They make it to Bethlehem, and they find the inn that has room in the shed.
Wait, they have a donkey named Fig?
Oh yeah, the donkey's name is Fig.
They have a donkey named Fig that like beats up one of the fucking guards.
The Roman guards,
He donkey kicks one of the guards.
Yeah, they evade the Roman census.
But I'm like confused though. I'm like confused because like I thought the donkey was named Dominic, the Italian Christmas donkey.
Oh no, that's a different guy.
I think that he should have like. I feel like it was like anti-Italian discrimination. Like they're like erasing Italian stories.
Would it have been an accurate name to have named something or someone Dominic at the time?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like literally don't know. But I think they should have named him Dominic the donkey, like the Italian Christmas donkey.
So
I'm like I don't know. Fig is inaccurate because like that's not the Hebrew word for fig or the Aramaic word for fig.
So we get to the manger though, and Jesus is born. They have during the birth they cut away to characters that have met Jesus or that are looking for him. There's some shepherds, and then the Magi look at the star and they sing "O Holy Night." They say "Fall on your knees," the name of our day one programming at QED, our festival.
That's the best. That's the best Christmas song.
Fall on your knees, oh hear the angel voices.
Because I like it because I'm like, yeah, we're taking this shit seriously. I like a song that takes it seriously. You know?
So
it's not all about like Santa Claus and the lists and being naughty. Like, no, it's fall on your fucking knees.
They sing that, and then the Magi arrive. But the Magi learn after they give their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to the little king, they learn that they've been being followed by Herod's son and the Roman guard, who have been using the census as an opportunity to find the king of the Jews.
Yeah.
And the Roman soldiers are held off by Herod's son, and Herod's son has a moment where he can decide what kind of man he truly is. He looks at Mary, and he finally decides, like, you know what? I'm going to spare them. I'm a good man. He says, this is not them. Keep the search going.
Yeah.
And turns back. It is not in your blood, Herod's son. You can be your own man.
Yeah. So that's like kind of the story.
Yeah, we flash out, and we see that they are able to move on with their lives. We pull out, and guess who's been telling this story the whole time? It was Mary and Joseph telling a bedtime story to a young Jesus Christ.
Wait, how did I not remember that?
Yeah, right at the end, it's Mary in a storybook telling the story of his own birth to a young Jesus Christ.
I like don't remember this. Is like the book like is it like a bound book?
I don't remember.
Is it a
but
scroll?
They're telling it to Jesus. He's like bouncing on the bed. He's like, wow, that was me.
I'm baby Jesus of Nazareth. Okay.
And that's Journey to Bethlehem, 2023, directed by Adam Anders.
Miscellaneous details. The guy that they have to play the Roman census like worker.
Oh yeah.
They get the best casting.
He has
ever.
like such like perfect physio. Like he's got like a very weak chin. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the weak chin, the big like eyes with the big eyelids.
Yeah.
Got the Caesar cut on. He has like a weird long neck. I'm like, yeah, this guy, like central casting went off.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah, I mentioned that the donkey was not Italian, which was fucking weird.
Yes, yeah.
Any other standout songs? Oh, the one song that I liked in the entire musical was this Mary solo song that I can't remember how it sounded. I can't remember the details. I can't remember the vibe. But that was my favorite song. So if you watch this movie, keep your eyes peeled for the song that Ava likes that I can't describe.
Yeah, and you know what? I guess let's go into the snowball ranking, because I think I would recommend this movie. I think it's not like, my favorite type of musical. It's maybe not my favorite way to pull off a biblical story, but I thought it was perfectly fine at what it was trying to do, which was be a family movie, musical, pop musical, telling the story of the Nativity. Giant race car outside.
And I can't even hear it.
But the I'm primed to. So what have our 5 snowball films been?
I don't know.
Christmas Karen.
Oh yeah.
Karate Christmas Miracle.
I think I gave Drone 5.
So I'm primed to give this 4 snowballs. 4 out of 5 snowballs for Journey to Bethlehem from Will Bricka, locking it in.
So okay. this is a movie.
I had a fun time.
This is a movie that I would not put on for my children, but if my children watch it at a different parent's house, I would not be upset or annoyed. You know, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's like, I've seen that, that's fine. You know, like I'd be like, yeah. And my kid would ask me a bunch of questions like, did Mary want to be a teacher? I'd be like, nope. Nope.
I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Nope, she didn't.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about her actually. You know, did Mary and Joseph fall in love after the initial strife of their arranged marriage? I don't know.
Joseph
Probs?
actually kind of drops off the face of the earth in the Bible after Jesus is 13.
Yeah. Yeah. He's vibeless, but he is.
I think the one thing we know about Joseph is I've always been compelled by Joseph, but that is always that, you know, the one thing we know about Joseph after Jesus is 13 and stays behind at the temple and gets in trouble with his parents. The one thing we know is that he dies.
Boom.
That's it. Ain't that how dads be though?
I feel like you got
Stoic.
mad at me when I was like, you're like, I feel like you would be like Joseph because like you're like a good guy.
I didn't get mad. I took that as a compliment. Joseph is kind of
well, because I was
a sort of symbol of male nobility that I would love to be modeled after.
Because I figured if you got cucked by God, and like
when
I told you,
maybe it's because you put it like that. Maybe it's because you
God.
put it specifically like
if
that.
you got cucked by God, and like I told you, like, hey, bae, like, sorry, but God just cucked you. I'm carrying the chosen one. You would be like, I don't believe you at first, but actually I'm going to respect you and I'm going to support you as my wife and I'm going to raise that child as my own. I'd be like, yeah, it's not your child.
So, okay, we're getting off
and
topic.
You're just going to have to believe me.
We're getting off topic. We're running long. I really liked the length of the episode last time. So let's get that snowball ranking for Journey to Bethlehem.
3.
3. So less good than The Drone That Saved Christmas.
Yeah, songs were bad. Also, it's not a low budget movie, so I don't even
true.
know why we even reviewed this. Even though it was fun to watch. I enjoyed watching
and we talked about it for a while. There was much to discuss.
Well, we have to discuss this whole story. And you know, I guess it told the story in a way that's never been told before. But
yeah.
But the songs fucking blew chungus chunks. Like, I think it, like, a lot of it looked, like, pretty cheap in a weird way, but, like, I feel like it could have looked better. I felt that the dance numbers were uninspired. I think the types of songs that they were doing, like, beyond the songs just, like, sucking, I think that the fact that they're like, oh, we should do, like, one song from, like, to, like, parody, like, a type of artist, kind of, is, like, what they were doing, because they did, like, I mean, like, very clearly they did, like, an Imagine Dragons song. Very clearly they did, like, a Muse song. Very clearly they did, like, I felt like they were, like, trying to, like, it just made me think of things that are, like, that also suck but are better. Which I feel like is a terrible space to be in.
That's never good.
But did you just eat some penis? You're making a crazy face.
No. It's my coffee.
Yeah.
I was at the bottom of my coffee, and you know how that can get a little chunky.
It's not my coffee. Not my coffee, sis.
Well, you had a nice coffee. You had kind of a hipster kind of a mason jar iced coffee this morning.
I had iced espresso with a little splash of milk and honey. But yeah, I think this is definitely a 3 because, like, it's just not the vibe. It's not my vibe. I don't think it's bad. But, like, it's just, like, not, like, a good movie. I think it is, like, conceptually funny that, like, the Virgin Mary was, like, singing and, like, Joseph was, like, singing and, like,
Mary, Mary, Mary.
Yeah, I thought that was conceptually pretty funny, but I mean, like, also, like, in terms of songs that I've heard in Christmas movies, there were funnier ones that I'm thinking in the back of my mind.
What's your favorite Christmas movie song?
Well, it's actually going to be playing December 22nd.
Ooh, segue. Get those tickets. Link in
your
bio.
tickets.
Tomorrow.
Get your tickets.
Day 1 is tomorrow.
It's
3:30.
actually so insane. I can't believe it.
3:30 p.m. tomorrow in Astoria at QED Comedy and Event Venue, QED. Get your tickets below. If you can't make the 15th, or if you can, either way, get tickets for the next Sunday, December 22nd.
Yeah. Horror, joy, it's insane. It's
Horror Day 1, Joy
so
Day
amazing. 3 stars, Journey for Bethlehem. 1 star, Christmas Gone Viral. It's been a crazy ass episode. We can't wait to see you again next week on
Will and Ava's Christmas Movie Marathon. Tune in next week for coverage of our first day of our Christmas Film Festival.
Ho,
Ho, ho, ho, and happy holidays.